So here we are. At the end of my sophomore year, when I was trying to decide whether I wanted to join IB or not, I remember having a conversation with my mother. We talked for a while about the cool idea of a unified curriculum, the emphasis on discussion and group learning, the TOK requirement. But when it finally came down to it, and my mother looked me in the eye and asked, "Are you sure you want to do this?" I realized that despite the IBTs, the panels of students, Mr. Mitchell's talks, I still didn't really know what IB would be like for me. I knew that I would truly never know until I actually tried it for myself. There was a lot of conflicting information when I talked to people currently in the program. Some thought that it was the best thing that's ever happened to Shaker, and some told me that it was a waste of time and that I should stay away. The final deciding factor for me, like many others, was that I could always quit later, but I'd never have another opportunity to join. So, join I did.
My own experience was a little bit different. Without consulting my parents, I went skipping into Mr. Mitchell's office and signed up on the spot following the first IBT. I was eager to find any alternative possible to advanced placement. I was excited to be the guinea pig and take initiatives for myself. Like Zach, I had no idea what IB would have in store for me, and that was exciting. I don't think I'll be taking any risks in saying that each of us found IB in a different way. And though we have each different feelings towards the program, even now, we can all reflect on some of our shared experiences with appreciation and gratitude. Late nights at TOK, going home and remembering that yes, it is only Monday. Walking down to the dance room, yoga mats in hand, ready to challenge ourselves to take a new perspective and release some stress with the help of Hallie. Staring at a form with dread, realizing you still do not know how to spell baccalaureate. But we persevered. TOK night classes ended. Peter almost mastered a handstand, and when I was typing this, I spelled baccalaureate correctly on the first try.
What I think Hannah and I both wanted to talk about tonight were the things that we've all garnered from IB that maybe you hadn't considered before. Despite everything that we like to complain about, the abstract requirements, the strangely indoctrinate propaganda that's strewn throughout our school, IB has helped us to gain skills that are truly invaluable. Firstly, the relatively small size of the program led us to get to know people that we never would have otherwise. IB brought people in Shaker together, regardless of cliques or whoever we had been friends with before. Granted, the IB bubble can grow a bit tiresome at times, but it also created a community of vastly exceptional people who share similar interests and a similar drive for academics. We have become a family.
And sometimes, arguably, cult-like. There was no need for a shirt to distinguish us from the rest of the Shaker student body. Yoga mats, coffee mugs, and tired eyes were trademark signs of an IB student. No one can deny that we were challenged by the IB program. It was difficult. Through all of the annoyances of the tests, the pages and pages of essays that we've had to write over the past few weeks, being scrutinized by the all-knowing invigilators, we continued with conviction, and it has pushed us to be better. With each additional test completed, it was incredible to think that we were that much closer to completing our time as IB candidates. Before these tests, however, there were mountains and mountains of review packets, seeming to build up like Everest in front of our eyes. There were late nights and early mornings, gallons of coffee, and in Monica's case, one particularly well-known gallon of water. There were emergency meetings with Miss Bonner, shopping with Mrs. McCandless, and what seemed like hours of holding chair pose with Hallie. For every internal assessment turned in, and every CAS requirement completed, there was a little weight taken from our shoulders. And for every weight lifted from our shoulders, there was empowerment and pride to be gained.
I believe that because of the IB program, we are more prepared for college than we would have been otherwise. The Socratic seminars have helped us to speak more comfortably in front of others. The mountains of work have helped us to manage our free time more effectively, even if procrastination is still an important part of our daily routines. I think most significantly, since we had to write an impressive amount, even in classes that wouldn't normally require it, looking at you, Math IA, we're much better writers now. Of course, Everyone who's taken IB has had a slightly different experience. What I've gained from IB is neither the rule nor the exception, but frankly, as cliche as this sounds, it's the differences in what we've all experienced that's helped us all to grow. At Shaker, we like to talk about diversity. And while that's usually regarding socioeconomic status or race, in the IB program, we are diverse in the intellectual sense of the term as well. Every student in the Diploma program wrote an extended essay, something that was unique to each student and let us all explore independently.
The extended essay all started our junior year. We submitted little sheets of paper with our initial ideas. Ideas became research questions became theses, which in the blink of an eye became 14-page papers. Just kidding. We had immense support from Mr. Kelly, Mr. Mitchell, our supervisors, and our parents. I actually have portions of my essay memorized because I had to read them over and edit them so many times. Collectively, we probably lost about a month's worth of sleep. That is dedication. From consumer dog food preferences, to literary commentaries, to investigations into human trafficking solutions, we broadened our own horizons. That is significant.
We all did our own CAS projects too, something that required us to really put ourselves out there. Planning and initiating our own projects, we truly took community service to the next step. We hiked and biked and played varsity sports and figure skated and danced and competed in bodybuilding competitions. We each found our own voice in communities near and far. We volunteered in Honduras, Guatemala, and El Salvador. We climbed the Rockies, the Appalachian Trail, and became lifeguards. We found our paths and faced them full speed ahead. CAS helped us all to become more independent in that way. It helped to define our own senses of self.
We've organized charity donations and given human rights speeches and have gone all over the world. We have done things that we never would have dreamed about a few years ago. We have made a difference in our local community through small acts of kindness. We've all grown from talking to one another. And frankly, if you're a student sitting here tonight, you had to do something really worthwhile, whether it's playing tennis or making a photo collage or working in a soup kitchen. Everyone who's done the program, everyone who we've laughed and cried on the inside along with, all of us have become more independent people because of IB. The laughing came along with all of the late nights in TOK, performing skits about philosophy, imitating Socrates, and staring into each other's eyes during yoga class as an exercise in dealing with discomfort. We learned the benefits of being open-minded.
The crying came with the hours of reflecting about CAS, thinking about the extended essay, and Sophie's World assignments. I mean, who wouldn't love when your teacher tricks you into reading a philosophy textbook disguised as a coming-of-age novel? But sarcasm aside, we've all heard that hard work builds character, and it truthfully does. I know that Hannah and I have really enjoyed hearing what everyone has done with their IB experiences. Talking to you guys in class is frankly pretty fascinating because we're also involved in things that we're passionate about. We learn a lot from each other. But it's more than just admiring what we're all doing to get our creativity hours. For Hannah and I, IB has been about the day-to-day interactions with all of you. The snide comments about Group 4 projects, hilarious memories of Mr. Mitchell's infinite and infamous selfies, and heartfelt moments that have made this program a truly special experience for all of us. That's why we've organized this little performance to thank each individual for what they've done to make our own interpersonal IB experience that much richer.